It's just gone 7 o'clock. My name is Vuyo Mvogo. Now, strong winds are hampering efforts by the 600 firefighters battling the Garden Route wildfires. Working on Fire says the fires raging in the Southern Cape is evidence of climate change. Could this be a contributing factor? Well, to discuss this, we joined via Skype by hydroclimatologist Dr. Piotr Wolski from the University of Cape Town's Climate System Analysis Group. Good evening, Doc. Thanks very much for your time. What makes you so sure that this, or what we're seeing in George and Niza, is indeed evidence of climate change?
Well, I didn't say that. It's somebody else who said that. I'm not entirely sure whether this is that evidence of climate change. It's likely that climate change has contributed to that event, but you know, it doesn't work other way around.
What, though, do you think is the reason that part of the country continues? I mean, they were battling the same blaze last year in about like a year ago. What could be the single biggest contributing factor from where you sit?
Oh, well, it's difficult to for me to talk about fires because there's many factors that contribute to that. Climate is one of the components there. And you see, when I said that anthropogenic climate change is likely a contributing factor, I mean, it's difficult to, firstly, we don't talk about climate change causing an event like that. You know, we can talk about exactly that climate change contributes to events like that. It can increase probability of events like this occurring. But the events like this, the higher temperatures, lower rainfall that would facilitate fires of that magnitude and of that frequency are likely to occur in natural climate, not necessarily anthropogenically altered. Yet the anthropogenic influence on climate, the rising temperatures globally, regionally, locally, increase the risk of events like that. So that's something that we have to consider in that whole story. And if we look at Eastern Cape, at places like George or Niza, we have records that indicate that there is an slow increase in temperatures in the last decades, so almost hundreds of years, and that factor does contribute to increased risk of fires, definitely. We don't really have, if we look at George at this moment, I don't have the recent longer-term records. The September was in George was wetter than usual, so it's not very likely that we have a much drier period, although October might have been. I'm not entirely sure how was the rainfall in October. So that dry October might have contributed to that too. And again, that it can be a role of anthropogenic climate change in that too.
What is anthropogenic influence, Doc, and why should we care about it?
Why should we care? We should care. Anthropogenic influence is essentially, something that we call anthropogenic global climate change. Is the effect of anthropogenic emissions, or emissions caused by humans, emissions of greenhouse gases into the atmosphere that cause essentially entrapment of heat within the atmosphere. And that leads to increase of temperatures, air temperatures, sea level rise, and changes in rainfall patterns. Some regions will receive higher rainfall, some regions receive lower rainfall. But essentially the temperatures are changing globally everywhere. They're increasing everywhere. So that's something that that starts exceeding the ranges of natural climate variability that we've been observing in the last centuries. And why should we care? It's firstly because it very strongly affects us. So it underlies events like fires in Eastern Cape now. It underlies events like Western Cape drought. It underlies events like extreme rainfall events, storms in Gauteng from last year, and many other climate-related events that have very strong economic implications. It costs us at the end. And why should we care? We should care very strongly because it's not going to get any. It's not going to get any easier. We are likely to experience more and more of events like this that are going to cost us money and cost us lives.